Before there was a single thing to see or hear or touch, before time itself began to tick, there was God. There were no stars to count and no sky to hang them in, no ground, no sea, no edge to anything, because there was no world at all. There was only deep, dark water with no shore, and a stillness so complete it had never once been broken. Over that dark, the Spirit of God hovered, the way a bird rests on the air before it sings. Then a voice moved across the water. "Let there be light." And light came. It poured into the dark like the very first morning, and for the first time ever, there was a difference between bright and shadow. God looked at the light and called it good. He named the light day and the dark night. Evening slipped by, morning arrived, and that was day one. On the second day, the voice spoke again, and a great open space opened over the waters. God called it sky. He lifted part of the waters high overhead, where one day they would gather into clouds, and left the rest below. The heavens arched above the deep, wide and clear, and that was day two. On the third day, God said, "Let the waters gather, and let dry ground rise." The seas drew back with a hush, and land came up out of the water, dripping and still. God called the ground earth, and the waters seas. Then he said, "Let the land turn green." And it answered him. Grass crept over the bare hills, buds cracked open into flowers, and trees stood up heavy with fruit, a whole forest hidden inside seeds you could cup in one hand. And God saw that it was good. That was day three. On the fourth day, God hung lights in the sky. He set the sun to govern the day and the moon to keep watch through the night. Then he flung the stars across the dark, more than anyone could ever number, each one burning in its own place and held there. That was day four. On the fifth day, God filled the empty water and air. The seas began to flicker and dart with fish, some no bigger than a fingernail, some so vast their backs rolled through the waves like moving hills. Above the water, the sky filled with wings, and the world heard its first bird song lift into the morning. God blessed them. "Have your young, and fill the seas and the skies." That was day five. On the sixth day, God filled the land. Out they came across the green earth, horses at a gallop, slow, heavy elephants, deer springing over the grass, lambs and small things creeping underfoot. Every creature, the great and the tiny, alive at his word. But he was not finished. His best work was still to come. God said, "Let us make human beings in our image." So he made them, male and female, the crown set on top of everything he had created. Unlike any other creature, they could love and wonder and know God himself as a friend. He blessed them and placed the whole living world into their hands to keep. Then God looked back over all of it, the light and the seas, the stars and the swimming and flying and walking things, the man and the woman. And it was very good. On the seventh day, God rested, not because the work had tired him, but because it was finished, and nothing was left to add. He blessed that day and set it apart, a day to stop and breathe and remember. And so the world lay finished and still under its first quiet evening. The seas held their shape. The trees stood without a sound. The stars wheeled slowly overhead, exactly where they had been placed. Somewhere, a single bird called once and went silent, and the whole young earth seemed to hold its breath, as if it already knew that everything spoken into being here was the doorway into a far greater story, only just beginning to unfold.